Hi everyone. Today we're looking at more difficult power to a power problems. So let's get right into it. On the first side, we have negative 4 x to the 5th y to the 10th, and all of it is cubed, times x to the 11th times y to the 4th. So I'm going to do this in two steps. First, I want to simplify all this inside the cube. So first I'm going to simplify. And then I'm going to multiply. So once this is simplified, I'm going to multiply it by this. So first simplify, second multiply. Let's do it. So recall that a negative number cubed stays negative. If I have negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, right? So positive 1 times negative 1 is just equal to negative 1. So this will be negative 4 cubed, which is negative 64. Okay? When we have a power to a power, we multiply the exponent. So 5 times 3 is 15, x to the 15th. Y to the 10th. So 10 times 3 is 30, so y to the 30th power. Okay, we did our first step, which was to simplify. Now we have to multiply. So we have negative 64 x to the 15th y to the 30th power times x to the 11th times y to the 4th. Okay, so remember when we're multiplying, we just add the powers together. So we have negative 64, that stays the same, because it's negative 64 times 1. 1 is the coefficient here. So negative 64 times 1. X to the 15th power times x to the 11th power is x to the 26th power, because 15 plus 11 is 26. And y to the 30th power times y to the 4th power is y to the 34th power. Give this problem a shot. The first thing I want us to notice is that the stuff inside the parentheses is raised to an even power. But we also have a negative sign outside of the parentheses. When we have this situation where a negative is outside the parentheses, but the stuff inside the parentheses is raised to an even power, our final answer is negative. Here's why. Say we have negative 1 squared, and our negative sign is inside the parentheses, like this. This is the same thing as negative 1 times negative 1. We know negative 1 times negative 1 is just positive 1. But if our negative sign is outside the parentheses, and we have a positive 1 on the inside, it looks like this. A negative sign, then a parentheses, then 1 times 1. We know 1 times 1 is 1, but we also have the negative, so the final answer is negative 1. So going back here, a little too excited. Going back here, the first thing we have to do is handle our exponent. Remember the order of operation, parentheses, exponents, then multiplication. This is multiplication with this negative sign. So we're going to have our negative on the outside. 6 squared x to the 4th, because 2 times 2 is 4. We're doing power to a power. We multiply those exponents. 8 to the 16th, because 8 times 2 is 16. Finally, we're going to go ahead and multiply this by this negative 1 right here. So we have negative 6 squared, which is 36 if you use your calculator or Desmos.com. X to the 4th, y to the 16th. If you need Desmos, here's the website. Now we have the negative quantity 2x to the 6th power, y to the 5th power, all raised to the power of 5, times 2x to the 6th power, y to the 5th power. The first thing we got to do is simplify, and then multiply. All right, so first let's simplify. We know for this we have a negative on the outside, but I was going to say, notice we have this quantity is raised to an odd power, but it doesn't really make much of a difference for our sign because there's no negative inside the parentheses. So we have 2 to the 5th power, x to the 30th power, and y to the 25th power. All of this is times 2, x to the 6th power, y to the 5th power. Alright, so we simplified almost. We have to do one more step. So we have a negative on the outside. We want it inside now since we've simplified and got rid of this power out here. So we have negative 2 to the 5th power, which is 32, x to the 30th power, y to the 25th power. All of this is times 2x to the 6th power, y to the 5th power. Let's go ahead and multiply. So we have negative 32 times 2, which is negative 64, x to the 30th power times y to the 6th, x to the 30th power times x to the 6th power, which is x to the 36th power, and finally y to the 25th power times y to the 5th power, which is y to the 30th power. And I'm going to make this a bit more clear. This is x to the 36th power. Try this one on your own. Alright, this time we got to simplify for real. So we got a even power right here and odd power right here, but that's no problem for us. We can do it. So first thing we got is 3 squared x to the 8th power and y to the 4th power. All this is times, negative 2 to the 3rd power. My gosh. X to the 9th power, y to the 3rd power. Okay, so we know that negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 is what? It's negative 1, right? And if you don't have that, just use your calculator. But it's the same thing for negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Well, that's just negative 8. So we can just put negative 8 over here, x to the 9th power, y to the 3rd power, and that is times 3 squared is 9, x to the 8th power, y to the 4th power. Okay, so we simplified. That wasn't too bad. Simplified. Check. Now we have to multiply. So 9 times negative 8 is negative 72. X to the 8th times x to the 9th is x to the 17th. And finally, y to the 4th times y to the 3rd is y to the 7th power. So now we have the quantity negative 4 x to the 5th, y to the 10th raised to the 3rd power, and x to the 11th times y to the 4th. So let's go ahead and simplify this. We have negative 4 cubed, x to the 15th, y to the 30th power. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 10 is 30. So now we're going to multiply x to the 11th, y to the 4th. So we have negative 4 cubed. Our negative is on the outside and there's no parentheses. So our final answer is negative. So we have negative 4 cubed, which is just negative 64. X to the 26th power, because 15 plus 11 is 26. And y to the 34th power. Give this one a shot. Okay, I notice the even powers, but I also notice we have fraction, or at least one fraction. And I don't want us to be afraid of it. We can conquer it. So, first off, let's just go ahead and simplify both of these separately. We have 1 over 2 squared u to the 4th power and v to the 6th power 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 2 is 6. And then on the other side, or right next to it, we have 2 squared, u squared, and v to the 8th power. 2 squared, u squared, 1 times 2 is 2, and 4 times 2 is 8. So let's go ahead and simplify the parts where the numbers are raised to 2. So 1 over 2 raised to the 2nd power is 1 over 4. You can use your calculator to find that. So 1 over 4 times e to the 4th times v to the 6th power. And then times 2 squared is 4, u to the 2nd power, v to the 8th power. Okay, so now we're going to make sure our numbers are out front, which is a good thing. That's what we want. We're just going to multiply them to get that one number that will be out front in our final answer. So 1 over 4 times 4 is the same thing as 4 divided by 4, right? Well, anything divided by itself is 1. So I'm going to leave it just as it is, because I could put a 1 here, but there's no point because anything times 1 is itself. Okay, u to the 4th power times u to the 2nd power is u to the 6th power, and v to the 6th power times v to the 8th power is v to the 14th power. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask your teacher. Thanks for watching.